My name is Mark Kitchell with Huawei Enterprise Western Europe, and today we are joined by the 451 Research Group at Huawei's Global Analyst Summit. What can you identify as the primary trends in cloud computing today?
I like to think about there being a perfect storm of conditions that exist at the moment which make cloud computing inevitable, right? So first of all, we have, let's call it the Great Recession. In other words, there's the economic emphasis on doing more with less, on reducing costs. And of course, the beauty of cloud is it allows organizations to reduce spending on capital equipment without negatively impacting operations. It doesn't mean to say that cloud is going to be cheaper for everyone. We don't think it is. But it's like the car rental model, right? You're prepared to pay a bit more to rent a car for a week than own one outright. The second thing is the consumerization of IT, right? We think this is the single most important device that end users have for having IT deployments that are successful, that are used and are accepted. Unfortunately, consumers still enjoy better technology than they do at work at the moment. I think the third condition here is the introduction of infrastructure as a service, virtualization, automation, self-service, pay-per-use, on-demand is changing the whole service delivery model for both external providers and internal providers. Hybrid cloud computing is on the agenda now because organizations want to be able to capture the same benefit which public cloud providers have inside their organizations. So there's a sense of cloud out, taking existing infrastructure and moving into the cloud, and cloud in. Those folks using public cloud, bringing those workloads and applications back in-house. So providers which can operate in both of those spaces are going to be the more successful ones. What do you think, Agatha?
Well, I think, this is kind of like, what I see is like a general trend. I mean, when you look at trends, I mean, especially when you look at cloud, you have to put it in the context of different regions because they have different, infrastructure, different developments, and different initiatives. So I agree, what William said, but I do believe that, the state of development in different markets and different regions have different, distinctive trends. For example, in the US, right now, we really hear a lot of the, talking about multi-hypervisor, multi-cloud strategies. But in Asia, on the other hand, it's actually just the beginning of the game, and we don't see a lot of exciting initiative, but just about being able to provide cloud services. So I think it really have to put it in the right context.
In terms of market maturity, what phase do you think cloud computing is in today?
Well, we like to characterize the state of cloud computing as moving from the playground to production, right? So up until now, cloud has mostly been associated with developer activity, with ad hoc activity, and folks are gradually moving from these IT production applications and the low-hanging fruit through to business production applications and on to delivering IT as a service. And we're very much at this transition point where organizations, in order to be able to gain those kind of benefits, need to mature culturally and organizationally in order to be able to take advantage of these things.
Yeah, I think the transition phase is, it's safe to say that. I don't believe that in the market right now, any of the, cloud provider can claim that, right, we are the, the biggest one. The market is, absolutely mature. It's still in the transition phase. But again, if we're back to the theory about, different regions have different, development that will apply to the maturity of the market. I mean, if you, look at the U.S. market, we typically think it's much more mature as compared to Europe, and then obviously, Asia is going to be 3-5 year lag behind, and so that's general trend we see.
What do you think differentiates Huawei in the cloud computing market?
Well, I think what the folks have talked about is that Huawei does it a better way rather than another way or a different way like other vendors is the right one. And it seems to me what they should be doing is foregrounding the components of that better way in order that end users better understand what it is that Huawei has that is unique that can help to build their cloud systems for them.
Differentiation, I think for Huawei, I mean, just, back to the root, I mean, very strong, position in the carrier market. That obviously is one way to differentiate yourself from competitions. And so that's obviously a path for Huawei to begin to kind of contemplate the cloud strategies. And I think another differentiation actually is quite interesting is because even Huawei kind of position itself as a global provider, but actually I find it they actually have a much stronger position in the emerging market that a lot of the mature providers not really getting into that. So I think that's actually is a differentiation for you to be the sort of like the first mover to get into the market and establish your base and provide services.